I don't want to say every one of them is racist, but you're giving them power to, and you're giving them reasons to believe that we're ignorant when you're constantly doing all this ignorant shit. So there's issues with outside barriers and there's problems within our communities. Both, I think, is doing a hell of a job keeping us divided.
So what do you think we should spend more time talking about, though?
I think we should spend time talking on
What's your podcast
talking about
Black everything. Black everything. Black everything.
Is unity realistic or is it something unrealistic to expect?
Well, I think, obviously, everything's possible. And with unity, it's the same thing. There's other races, or some are united, so how come black people can't be united?
The answer isn't as simple as people think. But let's talk about it, Caden.
Okay.
What do you think black unity is?
Well, black unity would be just black people coming together to support each other and unify themselves for maybe one specific goal or something like that.
Well, for me, black unity is everything you said, plus us putting together our resources to get things like laws, policies, especially with the police, all of that stuff changed. Then on top of that, we just in general need to come together and start doing things like forming schools for our kids. We need to get more black businesses out there, black banks. We also need just the basic generational wealth that most races pass on to their kids, but we don't. I think a lot of that also goes to the fact that black people are less likely to have their parents when their parents get older and can't really tend for themselves. They don't move them in. Instead, a lot of black folks will go and just put their parents in some type of nursing home or something and let the state deal with them. And they'll come visit them like twice a year type stuff, which don't do that to me.
Okay.
Go throw me in the basement. Throw a couple pieces of chicken down there for your old man, dog. You know what I mean? Are we too quick to criticize each other? Well, I'm just going to say yes, period.
Mm-hmm.
What's your opinion on that?
Definitely. I talked about it before. People have jealousy. Let's say a black man gets a raise, another black man sees it, and then during the job, the black man doesn't make a small mistake, but then immediately, because the other black man was jealous, he'd immediately criticize him for that. Just because of one mistake, because he's jealous. And jealousy is a big thing that can cause people to scrutinize you and look for anything you can mess up on.
I do think that we need to do more celebrating each other instead of criticizing each other. Should we spend more time talking about outside barriers or problems within our own community? I'll let you answer this first.
I think, first of all, you should get your internal problems solved. Because once the black community is united, which is what this is talking about, problems within our own communities. So if we become united, then it will be much easier to deal with the outside problems or outside barriers. So I think we should be spending more time talking about problems within our own communities.
That's fair, and that's a really good point. But I don't want to dismiss the outside barriers. So in this case, I guess outside barriers would be racist laws, racist politics, racist housing, how they redline black people and put them in certain areas and do everything demographically and everything financially and economically to prevent us from being able to get into these predominantly white areas because we don't make enough or the banks won't approve our loans. Those are outside barriers that is still relevant to today. But I'm not finna run away from the other issue with black folks, and it's that we do have a whole lot of internal fighting. The whole reason we're able to have a subject today about black unity and the lack thereof is because of a lot of internal problems. We literally bring each other down instead of empowering each other and raising each other up. If you go look at the comments on a black person's videos, it's almost guaranteed that you're going to see a whole bunch of bad comments. And if you go find out who them people is, it's usually black people. So, and don't even get me started on black Twitter. That place is just a cesspool. It's literally like a pigsty, like a bunch of pigs playing around in dirt and mud.
You been there before?
Yeah, I looked at it. Just stupid. Just a bunch of ignorant stuff and ignorant people saying ignorant stuff. And that's why a lot of white folks feel the term nigger is appropriate for us. Because what does nigger mean? An ignorant person. And when we're constantly out there reinforcing that definition, our actions or lack thereof, you keep giving these people, I don't want to say every one of them is racist, but you giving them power to, and you giving them reasons to believe that we're ignorant when you're constantly doing all this ignorant shit. So there's issues with outside barriers and there's problems within our communities. Both, I think, is doing a hell of a job keeping us divided.
So what do you think we should spend more time talking about, though?
I think we should spend time talking on both of them. For one, why can't we do both at the same time? Why can't we unite and fight against the outside barriers by letting laws change and getting racism in the business arena, racism in the politics, and how the police treat us versus how they treat other races? Why can't we address that and at the same time say with our eternal issues, hey, this is your neighborhood, why not keep it clean? This is your neighborhood, why not try to help get the crime down? This is your neighborhood, why would you go out there and rob and kill your own black person, your own black brother or sister? We can address both of those at the same time, simultaneously. You don't think so? I think we can.
I do.
So do successful black people have a responsibility to give back? I'm always going to answer yes to this, just point blank period, because that's just how any race moves along. Those with resources are those that can affect more change. It's hard for somebody that's living paycheck to paycheck to go out there and protest and go out there and speak to congressmen and senators, lobby, put money towards lobbying for new laws to be passed when if they miss a day of work, they ain't gonna be able to pay their rent. Now, if you a billionaire though, not only do you have the money, time, and resources, but you should have the will and the want to better your race, if not for the next generation. So I do think this is, for me, black people, we do have, successful black people do have a responsibility to give back.
And well, this is where I would slightly differ from you. I think they have a responsibility per se to give back to the community, but I don't think I would label somebody as a bad person for not doing that.
Well, I'm not necessarily labeling them a bad person. I think these are two different questions. You know, having a responsibility to give back to your race and you don't do it, I don't think it's the same as being a bad person. I just think it's just maybe you not educated enough on some of the stuff that's going on below you in the other classes to your race. Because like I say, having money, you can mostly remove yourself from any racism. I just think that I wouldn't call them bad. I just call them not keeping up with the times or not educated or not having the will to help another black man. You know, maybe they got the mentality that, hey, I got my millions, you go get yours. And that's just how it is. But I'm going to tell you, giving resources and giving back to black community as a black person is something that's important, and it's done with all other races. So that's the one thing I always want to stress. White people, Jews, like Indians from India, Mexicans from Mexico, all of these different races, they give back on a regular basis. It's something that's normal in their teaching and their culture. So why is it absent from the black culture? That's what I'm saying. That's the way, that's how us having black unity and coming together will benefit us in general, the entire black race. But let's move on to the next, this next segment, y'all, is what's causing the division. And we can get a little bit on some of this or whatever. One thing that a lot of folks like to say is that probably politics dividing us. Now, I don't know if Democrat versus Republican is really what people are assuming that division is between us with politics or whatever. I can say that just in general in America, Republicans and Democrats are just is severely divided. So much to the point to where instead of like going out and, you know, having civilized discussions on politics, it turns up into like all out riots, violent, you know, and we're talking about politics, you know what I mean? Now, with this said, obviously you're 16, you probably don't know a whole lot about politics, but you are seeing what some of the things are going on in politics, right?
Yeah.
What do you think? How do you think Trump, our president in general, is affecting politics with black people?
Well, as far as I know, Trump hasn't been especially kind to black people, I'm pretty sure. I don't think he's been making any substantial like laws or policies that'll help black people. Didn't he take away DEI?
He did.
So it seems like he's hurting black people then. But so I would say Trump, in regards to black people succeeding, not really good. But I would also like to speak on if politics are dividing us. I want to say that like our opinions are what divide us. Then politics is just another opinion that's just, you know, cutting us apart. And
You're talking about like it's just another way to divide us.
yeah, like if there's like 100 dividers that are between us, politics is kind of a big one. Mm-hmm. And that's my thoughts on that.
Well, you know, for a long time, one way that black leaders got over the division of politics with black people is that they told you to just always vote Democrat. So they'll go around to all predominantly black neighborhoods and you'll just see nothing but Democratic signs out to vote for Democrats. And unfortunately, for the last, I'd say, 3 or 4 cycles of presidential cycles and elections, black people have pushed back on that because they're sitting there looking like, you telling us to vote for Democrats, but then they get into office and they don't do anything for us.
Well, you know, it was the Republicans originally that got us out of slavery, right?
It was a Republican, yes. And also all the major laws like civil rights and the right to vote for black people, all of that was done by Republicans. Mm-hmm. People think I have an issue with conceding that. I'm not Democrat or Republican, y'all, for the record. I actually think politicians in general are disingenuous, dishonest, and disloyal. I think that their main goal is to make their pockets fatter. You know, get as much money in the bank account I can get. I don't really think they really care much about the people. But that's just my personal opinion. So our generation's looking at the same problems differently. Well, based off of some of the discussions me and you have or whatever, I would say yes to this question. You know, because people that's in my generation, or let's say people even before my generation, we went through a lot more segregation and a lot more racism, like blatant, like right there in your face. Like the type of racism to where you walk to a bathroom because you need to pee, and on top of that bathroom it says whites only. When you're faced with that sort of racism on a day-to-day basis, your view on it is going to be different. Your generation, you at 16, you don't have to deal with stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's your opinion on this? Are generations looking at the same problems differently?
I think, yeah, I agree with your point a lot. I haven't gone through nearly as much racism as you've gone through. And so that causes me to look at that problem in a different way than how you would look at it. I think that, like, yeah, it's a bad thing, but since I haven't experienced it that much, I don't think it's that prevalent, or however you say it, as you would think.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Open Two Podcast.
Black everything. Black everything. Black everything.